I want to talk about a couple cool things I noticed in the Fantastic Four trailer, including one based on numbers that you probably did not see. So first of all, in this video, I'm not trying to spoil bits of the movie or anything like that, but what I want to do in this video is talk about specifically how this trailer gave me a feeling that we have seen this story before in one very specific comic. I want to talk about some of the parallels that I'm noticing here, including, like I said, one that you almost certainly did not see. So the comic itself is called Fantastic Four Life Story. It was written by Mark Russell with art by Sean Isaacs, came out in 2021. 6 issues. I've talked about it a little bit before, just because it's one of my favorite Fantastic Four stories, but having seen this trailer, I think this is the key to understanding what this movie is going to be like. The Life Story series, I guess series is a lot. There's been 2 Life Story books. One is Spider-Man Life Story, and then Fantastic Four Life Story. Attempt to tell the stories of the different either heroes or teams of heroes over the decades that they have existed in comics, but if they aged at the natural rate. So by the 80s, Johnny Storm is 40. And those books try to chart the stories those characters were in and pin them to the decades to kind of create a continuity, like what if Civil War happened, but if Spider-Man had been alive that long, he's kind of a middle-aged man, so how is that different? But unlike Spider-Man Life Story, Fantastic Four Life Story attempts to tell one story over the course of these 6 books, which is Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four go into space, but Reed Richards specifically forms a psychic link in space with Galactus. And Reed, for the rest of the series, is dreading the arrival of this cosmic figure. And Galactus in Life Story is treated as almost a Lovecraftian character who invades your mind and drives you to madness. Over the course of the next 2 decades, Reed tries to figure out a way to stop Galactus. He ends up working with Dr. Doom. Some other things happen, which I don't want to spoil. The book's really good. Go and read it. Like I said, it's only 6 issues. But by issue 4, the Silver Surfer finally comes and says, Galactus is coming. He gives the people of Earth a date. He says, in 10 years, Galactus will be here. So, make peace, say your goodbyes, because this is it. There's nothing you can do. And then issue 5, Galactus shows up. Reed, who has been, obsessing over this moment for his whole life, needs to confront Galactus and try to figure out a way to stop him or, whatever. What is he going to do? And because this trailer gave us a better look at Reed and showed us that he has something big on his shoulders. I think we kind of got that from previous trailers, but we didn't get a sense for exactly how big of an issue this is, and specifically how much the people of Earth also seem to know about it. But what I'm getting from this trailer, what appears to happen, is the Silver Surfer shows up at a point when the Fantastic Four are the heroes who have fought probably a bunch of low-level Fantastic Four villains like Mole Man, the Mad Thinker, people like that. But then this huge cosmic threat comes that they're not ready for, and Reed says, oh my god, this is that thing that I saw in space that nobody believed. I've dreaded this moment for so long, we're in trouble. And he spends, I'm assuming a lot of the movie, trying to fix this, and that's why he says, I don't know if we're safe. I don't know if I can protect us. But one thing you do see in Life Story is the way that the people of Earth react to this information. Because obviously the Silver Surfer comes, this is a public event, but they have so much time that not only does Reed try everything, but the people of Earth do really come to terms with the fact that they are probably all going to die. And they have tributes to the Fantastic Four. They build statues to the Fantastic Four, tell them how much they appreciate them, which reminds me very much of that moment in the beginning of the trailer on the talk show where they say, oh, we appreciate you, Fantastic Four. You've protected us for so long. This seems like this is happening right before Galactus shows up. And this is their one last pep talk, especially because I did get a sense in the voice of the presenter on the TV show. It was a little heavy. He seemed to know that something bad was going to happen.
And while we can never repay them, we can certainly celebrate them.
I don't know, maybe I'm reading too far into it. Another thing Life Story gets into a lot is Franklin Richards, the son of Reed and Sue, who has incredible cosmic powers, sometimes as a mutant. They don't really get into it too much here, but he ends up being a crucial part of fighting Galactus, and because of how much time passes, by the time Galactus shows up, Franklin Richards is more or less the age that the Fantastic Four are when the book starts. He is prime superhero age, all the rest of these guys are over the hill. And this trailer revealed that Sue is pregnant with a child who we assume will be Franklin, and that is going to put even more pressure on Reed. He has to stop Galactus because now he has a family, he has something to protect, and he has a future that he wants to protect, something that he never really had before. Obviously wants to keep the world safe and he wants to keep the Fantastic Four safe, but Franklin specifically changes things for Reed. I think seeing Shala Ball here, the Silver Surfer as a woman, is interesting. One thing I think I wasn't expecting from her is how much more sinister she appears. Remembering Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, a movie that definitely is not perfect, does a lot of work to paint the Silver Surfer as a character from the beginning who's not thrilled about any of this, who feels a sense of responsibility and guilt about sacrificing these worlds to Galactus. But he is resigned, like this is his fate, this is what he's going to do. But you can hear that in his voice. He's not happy about this.
My service spares my world and the one I love.
I don't think you get that from Shallabal. And I think the comics, when she came back in the recent Silver Surfer run, Shallabal was more of a villain. And that makes me think that they're going to play Shallabal as more of a villain in this version of the movie. And not because it's exactly what the comics did, more because, like, this is probably going to be a one and done. I don't think she's going to end up in the Marvel movies in the future. So I think having a simple version of that character is fine. But the thing that I think is the most interesting comes not in the regular trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps, but the IMAX version of the trailer that was released on the IMAX YouTube channel, which, as of recording this, and it dropped 12 hours ago, has 18,000 views, compared to the official trailer that has 11 million views. And I don't usually get too into aspect ratios. I don't know if you've noticed, but in my videos, I tend to crop whatever I'm looking at so that it fills the frame. Mostly because I find it kind of annoying when you have to watch different aspect ratios and you're constantly kind of readjusting. I think it takes you out of whatever experience this is in. This is something I've talked about before. It's a pet peeve of mine. But also usually because I'm recontextualizing the footage, I want to focus on a specific thing. But in this video, I've been using the regular aspect ratio from the original trailer up until this point because I want to show you what new things you get from the IMAX trailer. Specifically, all the bits involving Galactus, and even from the bit where they seem to notice Galactus for the first time during their dinner, you get the full frame. The frame expands. You see more. The world gets bigger. I think that is a very cool way to use the aspect ratio here. It does give you a sense for, like, this shot when all the guys in fedoras seem to be underground. That is a big aspect ratio shot, so that probably is because Galactus is doing something and they're all hiding from him. But again, that's not the thing that I want to focus on. What I think is very cool, in the regular version of this trailer, at the 2-minute mark, you have a shot of Sue in some sort of, I don't know, ship, futuristic part of the house, in front of some screen, looking at something, and she's scared. But the thing that got cut off by the letterboxing here is a countdown, which says day, hours, and I'm assuming minutes after that, and 2, 7, which seems to suggest that this is kind of like the countdown that exists in Fantastic Four Life Story, where the people of Earth are literally counting down to the moment that Galactus shows up, which I think makes the movie more interesting because it creates a ticking clock, a literal ticking clock that you can see right now. It's on screen, because you could play Galactus as like, they know he's going to come, but they don't know when. Or like in Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer shows up, and then very shortly after, a couple days later, Galactus shows up. It seems like there is going to be either a time jump or a long period of time, something in days, so probably not a year, or definitely not 10 years like in Life Story, but some amount of days that we are counting down to. Maybe a couple months, maybe 9 months, because it could be in the hundreds of days. But as someone who has read Fantastic Four Life Story, when I saw that detail, I thought that was very cool. Also, the IMAX trailer gives you a much better look in the stretching scene of what's going on in the background, which is definitely Galactus's hand or leg or something. Also, the stretching looks great. Also, I love that they have little fours on the bottom of their feet. I mean, there's so much I like about this trailer. I think this movie looks fantastic. You know, the color, the mood, obviously, the phenomenal score by Michael Giacchino that I have loved since the first time I heard it. And I'm only loving more and more as I keep hearing it. But I've seen a lot of people ask, like, what Fantastic Four comic should I read? If you can only read one, and you can read plenty, we have some time before this movie comes out, read Fantastic Four Life Story. It is 6 issues, and this trailer gives me the sense that this is the best book for understanding this movie. And speaking of things that are the best, I gotta talk about Nebula. It is a subscription streaming service that I helped to create with a bunch of my other YouTube friends. People you definitely know if you like my channel, like Patrick Willems, Captain Midnight, Big Joel, H Bomber Guy, Princess Weeks, and a bunch of others. Go to the Culture tab and just poke around. You will find someone you already love. And for my Nando V Movies and Nando Cut videos, the entire Nando Cinematic Universe, they all go up early on Nebula. The Nando V Movies videos are usually a week early. The Nando Cut videos are usually closer to a day or so. But when it comes to a movie review, that can mean the difference between me recommending recommending you immediately see a movie like Deadpool and Wolverine, or me warning you that you immediately see a movie like Madam Web. Either way, see Madam Web. Madam Web's great. Also, if you've seen these ads in the past, you've definitely seen me talk about Abolish Everything, a new show that was coming to Nebula. Well, they recorded it, and it came to Nebula, and it's great. It is so funny. I had such a good time watching it. Check out the trailer online, and then definitely go watch an episode. I don't know if you guys are like me, but this is the kind of thing I could watch full seasons of. You can also download videos to the Nebula app and watch them wherever you want, and we're adding new creators every day. We have guest passes. It's really incredible. And speaking of incredible, Nebula is already a steal at $60 a year, $5 a month. But if you go to go.nebula.tv/thenandocut, you can get a year of Nebula for $36. That is $3 a month. It's an incredible deal. Again, go to go.nebula.tv/thenandocut. You're going to love it.